September 8 was the day heaven assigned you protection from a secret betrayal. Archangel Michael stepped in, but you keep ignoring the signs. This is your final window. Open it now. September 8 was not just a day on the calendar. It was a moment etched in the eternal scrolls of heaven. While the world spun unaware, while clocks ticked on earth without hesitation, a divine decree was released. It was not broadcast through thunder, nor announced by wind, but in the chambers of the heavenly council, your name was whispered with power. On that very day, September 8, a holy assignment was issued. Not a general protection, not a routine covering, but a divine intersection, a personal dispatch of Archangel Michael himself, summoned by the Most High to stand between you and what was forming behind your back. This was not a coincidence. It was not random. You did not stumble into protection. You were assigned it, because something was unfolding in the shadows. A betrayal was stirring, cloaked in silence, wrapped in smiles, hidden in conversations you were never invited to hear. But yet heaven heard them all. And so, the warrior of heaven, the Archangel Michael, was sent. He came not only with a sword but with a shield, not only to battle but to block, to cancel, to confuse every plan formed in darkness against you. But here is the holy urgency. This protection was not open-ended. It was a window, a sacred gap in time, a divine interval of mercy and strategy. And you, yes, you, have lingered too long in hesitation. Heaven is still speaking, but you are distracted. You are still doubting the signs, the nudges, the dreams, the interruptions. You keep brushing off the supernatural as if it were ordinary. But this is not for everyone. This is not a broadcast. It is a summons. And your spirit knows it. Deep down, you feel the stirring. You feel that something is shifting. This message has found you because it was sent for you, not for your neighbor, not for the curious, not for the casual listener, for the called, for the marked, for the one heaven placed on high alert since September 8. Now is not the time to scroll past. Now is not the time to excuse away the strange patterns you've seen. This is the final window. A moment of holy stillness is required. A deep attentiveness. You must see what you've been ignoring. Type "I receive" in the comments if your spirit knows this is for you. Blessing code 888 is being released over your life. Heaven did not wait for your permission. It moved ahead of your awareness. While you were sleeping, while you were still trusting, while your heart was still open and unaware of the shadow brewing nearby, Archangel Michael was summoned. Not by alarm, but by divine appointment. The commander of heavenly armies was dispatched to your life without fanfare, without announcement, and without delay. Because heaven saw what you could not yet perceive. Michael did not enter quietly. Though you felt no wind, he shook the spiritual realm. He split the veil between dimensions to stand in the unseen gap where betrayal was trying to rise. It was no ordinary assignment. This was not a passive watching. This was war. And it had your name engraved on its purpose. You were targeted, not by accident, but by assignment. And yet you were also protected, not by chance but by divine order. Hear now the voice from the higher courts. The window is not endless. It is closing, even now. The clock of eternity is not governed by minutes but by obedience. Heaven operates by spiritual alignment, and your delay is dangerous. You have felt the strange pull. You've been catching fragments in your dreams, blurry warnings, faces that don't quite make sense, tension in rooms where nothing was said. You've been sensing shifts in people around you, their tone, their energy, their posture. And yet, you've ignored the inner alert. You've dismissed the subtle taps of warning as emotional noise. But the Spirit speaks not in pain. The Spirit speaks in pattern. This message is not cast like seed on every path. It is for the chosen, for the marked, for those who have known in their spirit that something is wrong, but didn't know how to name it. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. You are being awakened. Archangel Michael didn't step into everyone's life on September 8. He stepped into yours. Because the plan against you was not human. It was spiritual. But now the heavens are demanding your focus. Be silent. Be still. Stop scrolling. Stop over-explaining. Stop doubting. This is your time to hear. This is your moment to finally look with spiritual eyes and admit the signs have been everywhere. The whispers, the disconnections, the gut feelings, the patterns of delay. They have all been messages from the divine. And you must respond. Not with panic, not with fear, but with holy obedience. The betrayal that was forming would have shattered you if heaven had not intervened. And now, the angel who wars for nations is standing for you. But the shield only holds as long as you obey. The final window is not a threat. It is a mercy. The door is still open but narrow. You must walk through with humility, with silence, and with sharp spiritual vision. You are not listening to this by chance. Heaven does not waste its voice. You were supposed to hear this, now. And you must choose whether you will keep ignoring what God has made painfully clear. This is your final summons. He did. Type "I am listening" in the comments if your spirit knows this is urgent. Blessing code 7744 is moving through your house. There has been a silent storm moving around you, invisible to others, but undeniable to your spirit. You felt it in the tension of conversations that never finish, in the pauses, in the strange distance growing between you and those who once seemed close. You've been noticing the signs, sudden changes in people's tone, questions asked that felt more like fishing lines, a weird knowing that something's being said when you're not around. It's not paranoia. It's prophetic perception. You've been feeling restless, agitated. Your dreams have been louder lately. Your emotions unpredictable. You don't even know why you've been so sensitive, so unsettled, so disconnected from your own peace. But heaven knows. And heaven is revealing what your heart could never fully name. A betrayal has been brewing, in secret. There are people watching your life, speaking softly, smiling publicly, but harboring thoughts privately. They know parts of your story, but not your full truth. They've seen your moments of weakness, but they don't understand your calling. They've heard things distorted, twisted, half-true things, and they've been forming opinions, whispering, aligning with agendas not formed in light but in shadow. And yet you sensed it. You just didn't know what to do with it. Your spirit had been picking up the disruption. That's why you felt like you're walking through fog. why it's been hard to trust even your own discernment. But that fog isn't confusion. It's evidence of spiritual interference. Something has been trying to cloud your clarity, not to kill you physically, but to delay you spiritually. Because what you don't see clearly, you don't protect. And what you don't protect, you leave vulnerable. But heaven saw it all. The eye of the Lord hath been upon you like fire. The whispers in the dark were not hidden to God. The motives behind their kindness, the seeds behind their compliments, God saw the root, not just the fruit. And before the betrayal could manifest in full, heaven sent Archangel Michael to intercept the attack. But even now, with angels dispatched, you're still doubting. You're still wondering if this is all just your imagination. Let me be clear, God is confirming the suspicion in your soul. It's not gossip. It's not emotional paranoia. It's spiritual protection, trying to alert you before you step into a pit you weren't meant to fall into. Listen, not everyone smiling at you is celebrating you. Not every open door is from God. Not every God bless you is sincere. The enemy is strategic, and he's been using proximity, familiarity, and subtle betrayal to try and fracture your future. But you are being preserved, for a reason. You feel off because something is off. Your gut is right. The Spirit has been waving flags while you've been waving them off. But no more. It's time to take every nudge seriously. Because what you ignore now could cost you later. Heaven has seen it all. And now, you must see it too. Type "I am aware" in the comments if this confirms what you've been sensing. Lesson code 1414 is unfolding around you now. If this word is confirming what you've already been sensing, then your spirit is being stirred by God for a reason. This is more than a message. This is a divine alert, a rescue mission from heaven. When you support this channel, you're not helping me. You're helping this word reach the next soul God is trying to save from betrayal, heartbreak, or spiritual collapse. This ministry is sowing light into dark places. And as you sow into it, you become part of heaven's counterattack. Remember, the word says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." And that's not just a promise. It's a living law. Proverbs 11:25. I feel led to say this to someone. Your giving today is your declaration of discernment. It says, "I see what heaven sees, and I align." Don't just listen. Respond. Give as an act of prophetic alignment. Your obedience opens doors in the Spirit. You can give through Super Thanks, join as a member, or through PayPal. The link is in the video description. Seal your support with faith. Speak it aloud. I'm sowing into my protection. Heaven is watching. You must understand this now. This was never just about people. The betrayal that was being woven behind your back, the whispers, the sudden distance, the strange silence from those you once called safe, none of it was merely human. The conflict you've been sensing, the heaviness pressing on your spirit, is far deeper than relationships or misunderstandings. This is spiritual warfare. This is divine opposition against your calling. You have been chosen, not by people, not by popularity, not by chance, but by heaven. Your existence disturbs the realm of darkness. Your obedience threatens every assignment the enemy hath been deploying to delay you. And so, what you are dealing with is not personal offense. It is strategic warfare against your anointing. This is not about rejection. It's about redirection through fire. Yes, the betrayal cut deep. Yes, the deception caught you off guard. But listen to me closely. This was allowed, not to destroy you, but to wake you up. You were too close to comfort, too trusting of voices that had no reverence for your oil, too entangled with people who knew your habits but never discerned your mantle. So heaven permitted the discomfort, not to crush you, but to refine your discernment. The unrest you felt isn't because something is wrong with you. The unrest is evidence that your spirit has outgrown old surroundings. What once felt normal now feels heavy. What once felt peaceful now feels polluted. Because heaven is recalibrating your environment to match the weight of your assignment. The betrayal you're surviving is only happening because your spirit carries too much fire for the enemy to ignore anymore. And this is why Archangel Michael was assigned to your case. Heaven doesn't dispatch generals for minor situations. Michael wasn't sent because you were weak. He was sent because you're too important to be left unguarded. You were marked, not for destruction but for elevation. The spiritual realm has taken notice of you. Hell tried to delay you by using the familiar, by using faces you trusted, to distract you from your next level. But God said no. God interrupted the plot before it could manifest fully. And you are still standing because heaven made a judgment in your favor. Now hear this clearly. Heaven is watching how you respond. Not to them, but to Him. This moment, this betrayal, this testing season, it is a divine filter. It's separating your emotional self from your prophetic self. It's pulling you out of the shallow waters of reaction and positioning you in the deep rivers of revelation. God is watching your silence. God is weighing your restraint. God is measuring your obedience. You must stop seeing this attack as personal. You must stop asking why me, and start declaring because I'm called. The enemy does not waste time on the unmarked. The enemy does not waste energy on those who pose no threat. You were targeted because you are rising. And the very fact that you're being fought this way means the realm of darkness is afraid of what's about to be unlocked in your life. Let this be the moment your mindset shifts. Let this be the moment you understand. You are dangerous to the enemy, and that's why Archangel Michael was sent to fight for you. Not because you are fragile, but because you are ferocious in the spirit. Heaven is serious about you. Are you serious about heaven? Type "I am not afraid" in the comments if your spirit is aligning with this truth. Blessing code 5566 is guarding your purpose right now. The silence is about to break. The invisible pressure building around you is not imaginary. It is the evidence of spiritual confrontation manifesting in time. What has been hidden is rising. What has been brewing in the dark is stirring toward exposure. Heaven is not only watching, heaven is moving. And you must be prepared. The betrayer's hand is about to be revealed. There is movement coming, and it will not be subtle. Whispers that have lingered in secret places will soon echo in visible spaces. Conversations that have been held behind closed doors will begin bleeding through tone, reaction, and response. There will be moments where people show you exactly what they were trying to conceal. Not by accident, but because the anointing on your life is agitating every hidden agenda around you. This is not to frighten you, but to prepare you. You must be spiritually aware in the coming days. A veil is thinning. What was hidden in shadows is about to step into the light. You will notice the shift in body language, in strange hostility, in passive-aggressive tones. But more importantly, you will feel it in your spirit. A tightening, a turning, an unshakable sense that you're being watched, that eyes are on you with impure motives. And they are. But heaven has already gone before you. Let me say this with holy clarity. Within days, the pressure will rise. There will be a moment of tension, a breaking point, where what has been festering will push to the surface. For some, it will be through confrontation. For others, it will come through revelation. A slip of the time, a confession, a confirmation. The exposure is coming, because it must. Because the next phase of your assignment cannot move forward with this hidden toxin still clinging to your circle. But here is the divine warning. If you keep ignoring the signs, you will step outside the covering of Archangel Michael. His protection was never passive, it was conditional. Not based on perfection, but on obedience. The angel was dispatched to preserve you, yes, but the seal of protection strengthens only when your discernment sharpens. You cannot continue living distracted and expect divine intervention to carry you without alignment. If you return to comfort, if you downplay what God keeps revealing, if you normalize what heaven has labeled as danger, you will miss your window. This is not a time to explain things away. This is not a time to second-guess what your spirit already knows. The enemy is hoping you'll be too polite to protect yourself, too afraid of confrontation to walk away. But listen closely. Obedience is not cruelty. It's clarity. You are not being asked to judge others. You're being asked to guard your purpose. Your silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. The spiritual air around you is thick right now, charged with warfare, but also saturated with angelic authority. The betrayer has been moving under the illusion of secrecy, but they are walking directly into heaven's trap. And when the moment of exposure comes, you will not need to fight. You will not need to prove yourself. You will simply stand still and watch God make all things known. You felt the pressure building. You sensed something approaching. This is the confirmation. Do not panic. Position yourself in prayer. Retreat into stillness. Sharpen your discernment. And be ready to witness the divine unmasking. This is your warning, but it is also your mercy. Type "I will not miss this window" in the comments if you hear this. Blessing code 2299 is circling your atmosphere. Be still, for heaven wars where your voice is no longer needed. You have said enough. You have explained enough. You have tried to fix, clarify, justify, and overextend. And now, heaven speaks. The battle you are walking through cannot be fought with emotions. It cannot be resolved through conversation. This is not a matter for your mouth, it is a matter for the courts of heaven. And heaven has already ruled in your favor. Now the instruction is clear. Withdraw. Observe. Do not engage. Silence is not defeat. It is your most powerful weapon right now. Every time you choose quiet over confrontation, you add weight to the angelic defense that surrounds you. Every time you refuse to react, you confuse the betrayer. The spirit behind their actions expected your outrage. It expected your breakdown. It expected your retaliation. But it never expected your restraint. There is glory in your stillness. There is a supernatural shield rising every time you hold your peace. Let them talk. Let them twist the story. Let them run ahead. because they are running straight into a divine interruption. Your silence is not weakness. It is alignment. It is trust. It is prophetic cooperation with heaven's warfare. You are not being asked to abandon the situation. You are being asked to rise above it. Your prayers are louder in the spirit than any words you could ever speak on earth. Your tears have already reached heaven's altar. Your pain has already been recorded in heaven's books. And now, the only posture required of you is surrender. Surrender your need to fix it. Surrender your desire to be understood. Surrender your craving for resolution. Heaven is not just fixing what they broke. Heaven is replacing what they touched. This is a sacred time, a holy season of reordering. The more still you are, the more clearly you'll hear. God has been trying to whisper instructions to you, but your internal noise has been too loud. Your anxiety has been drowning out the answers. Your obsession with why has blocked the strategy of what's next. But today, that shifts. Today, a supernatural silence falls over your spirit. Not the silence of confusion, but the silence of clarity. The betrayer will not know what to do with your peace. The enemy cannot trace your movements when you retreat into prayer. You are becoming untraceable, unpredictable, protected, not because you're hiding, but because you're covered. You're moving under the radar of carnal lies and under the wings of divine warfare. Now is the time to return to the secret place. Fast if you must. Journal if you must. Wake up early or stay up late. Whatever it takes, return to the frequency of God's voice. The static has been thick, but clarity is returning now. And the voice of the Lord will speak again, not in thunder, but in stillness. Not in volume, but in peace. You do not need to know everything to be safe. You do not need to predict the betrayal's next move to be preserved from it. You only need to stay aligned. Stay under the wing of Michael. Stay obedient. Stay discerning. Let God do the uncovering. Let the angel handle the warfare. The Lion of Judah is roaring. You do not need to. Type "I will be still" in the comments if you're stepping into this silence. Blessing code 3113 is releasing divine calm over your atmosphere. You are not the hunted. You are the rising one. You are not the victim of this betrayal. You are the evidence that heaven's hand is still moving in power. They thought this storm would break you. They believed their silence would bury you. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't see, was that heaven was using their betrayal to elevate your authority. Hear this now. You are not who they thought you were. They saw you in process, but God saw you in prophecy. They watched your struggle, but heaven held your scroll. They underestimated your resilience because they never understood your anointing. You looked fragile on the outside, but there was fire in your bones. And this betrayal, this disruption, this chaos, it was the forge. This was the refining place where your wings were tested, stretched, and strengthened. Let the old version of you die here. Let the version of you that explained too much, trusted too quickly, and bent too far trying to be understood, let that version collapse. It is no longer necessary. That you has expired. Heaven has upgraded your rank. And with that upgrade comes new posture, new discernment, and new power. You are walking different now. You are seeing different. You are listening with precision now. You are becoming untouchable. not because you've built walls, but because you've been wrapped in glory. You see, fire doesn't come to destroy gold, it comes to reveal it. And you are gold, refined, ardent through heartbreak, strengthened through silence, crowned through cutting. Heaven did not allow this season to expose your weakness. Heaven allowed it to unlock your identity. You thought this pain was punishment. It was actually your proving ground. You must stop apologizing for your growth. You must stop shrinking around those who preferred your silence. You must stop explaining what God has already vindicated. You do not owe anyone understanding, only obedience. And if your obedience makes others uncomfortable, let it be so. This is not the hour to entertain small thinking, shallow loyalty, or casual dishonor. There is a roar rising inside you. Can you feel it? A deep surge in your spirit. That's not frustration. That's your mantle awakening. The very mantle that hell has been trying to delay. The mantle that Archangel Michael was sent to protect. The mantle that betrayal was designed to assassinate. And yet, here you are. Unkilled. Unshaken. Unbent. Your silence has not been passive. It had been prophetic. Your restraint has not been weakness. It had been strategy. And now, heaven is shifting you into visibility. The hidden one is about to become the highlighted one. Because you fought for it, but because you waited for it. Not because you manipulated it, but because you surrendered to it. You're not rising from pain. You're rising from the place of encounter. From the place where angels stood around your weeping. From the place where heaven wrote your name on the scroll of preserved ones. You've been in the shadow long enough. It's time now to walk in the boldness of your assignment. Not shy. Not timid. Not apologizing for your oil. You were not built to bend. You were built to burn with holy fire. So let the betrayers whisper. Let them watch. Because now, they will see what they tried to sabotage. They will witness what they couldn't stop. Type "I am rising" in the comments if you feel this holy fire waking up in you. Lesson code 4411 is sealing your new authority. There is a moment in every life where heaven's records collide with earth's timeline. A moment not written by man, but by the hand of the Almighty. For you, that moment was September 8. That date was not random. That day was not ordinary. In the courts of heaven, September 8 was marked in fire, circled in glory, and sealed with angelic order. While you woke up unaware, while your day carried on with routine and rhythm, a divine assignment was activated. Heaven moved for you. Let me speak it plainly. September 8 was the day heaven intercepted what was meant to destroy you. That was the moment the betrayal was seen in full, not by you, but by God. Heaven saw the seed being planted before the fruit ever appeared, and before the lie could take root, before the slander could spread, before the sabotage could unfold, the throne room roared with decree. And Archangel Michael was dispatched. He didn't come because you cried. He came because you're called. He came not in response to panic, but in alignment with purpose. Heaven knew you were walking blind into a battlefield disguised as friendship. You were loving people who were quietly aligning against you. You were loyal to those who were entertaining gossip about you. But God, oh God, step in. Not with explanation, but with intervention. Heaven covered you before you even knew you were exposed. A day was an unlocking, a divine shift in realms. A new page was opened with your name on it. The warfare intensified because your destiny accelerated. The betrayal increased because your influence expanded. What you thought was an attack was actually an announcement in the spirit realm, a declaration that your time had come. September 8 was not the beginning of a battle, it was the beginning of a birthing. And just like contractions precede the arrival of a child, pressure always comes before prophetic manifestation. The betrayal was not proof of your failure, it was proof of your favor. They were never coming for you because of your weakness. They came because of your weight. And heaven said, "Not now. Not this one. Not today. And hear this now, because you endured it. You are about to walk into a realm of blessing you've never seen before. Promotions that make no logical sense. Divine appointments that fall into place without striving. Open doors that others tried to block, but heaven blasted open anyway. Your alignment has now positioned you to inherit the harvest of obedience. You didn't retaliate. You didn't expose them. You didn't ruin their name when they tried to ruin yours. And because of that, heaven is honoring your restraint with reward. You are marked. You are recorded. You are seen. Your name is not in their mouths. It's in heaven's book. And what God writes, no man can erase. Let them deny you on earth. It doesn't matter, because you've already been validated in heaven. The angel is still present. The protection is still active. But now, it's no longer just about survival. Now it's about elevation. Now it's about expansion. Now it's about the unfolding of the next chapter that betrayal could not delay. September 8 was the interruption. September 9 began the unlocking. And today is your alignment. Type "I am marked" in the comments if this confirms what your spirit already knew. Blessing code 7770 is written on your scroll. If this word is awakening something deep in you, it's because God is pulling you into prophetic alignment. You weren't just protected, you were positioned. And now, it's time for others to receive this same alert from heaven. When you sow into this ministry, you're not giving to a voice, you're fueling a trumpet. You're making sure the next soul who's on the edge of a silent betrayal gets their divine warning before it's too late. This is more than content. It's a lifeline, a divine signal, a rescue wrapped in revelation. The word says in 2 Chronicles 20:20, "Believe in the Lord your God, and you will be established. Believe his prophets, and you will succeed." Your support is a prophetic agreement with what heaven is doing through this word. You're saying, "I hear you, God, and I'm moving with you." Support through super thanks. Join as a member, or use the PayPal link in the video description to partner with this divine mission. Declare this now. I am sowing into the word that covered me before I even knew I needed covering. Your obedience will unlock what no hand can close. You have heard the warnings. You have survived the betrayal. You have obeyed in silence. Now comes the shift, not in theory but in motion. Destiny does not wait forever. It demands your response. This is not the season to stay numb. This is not the hour to stay stuck between fear and faith. You have been prepared, preserved, and now you are being positioned, not just to know who you are, but to walk in the fullness of who heaven always knew you would become. This is your moment to respond with your whole being, not with delay, not with hesitation. Heaven is waiting for your yes. Not the surface yes. Not the emotional yes. Not the temporary yes that fades when comfort returns. The real yes. The yes that shatters cycles. The yes that closes the door on familiar betrayals. The yes that silences the whispers of fear. The yes that heaven honors with acceleration. Declare it with boldness. I say yes to the call. I say yes to the assignment. I say yes to the price, because I am finally ready to live without apology for the anointing on my life. This is not a suggestion from heaven. This is a summoning. You've been marked since birth. You've been preserved through things others didn't survive. You've been rescued in secret. And now, the one who wrote your story is activating your next chapter. You were never meant to stay in hiding. You were never meant to live halfway alive. Your obedience is not just for your benefit. Your obedience is deliverance for others. You carry something. You carry oil, revelation, breakthrough, healing, light. And until you step fully into obedience, someone else remains in delay. The people assigned to your voice, they are waiting. The atmosphere assigned to your worship, it's waiting. The door connected to your yes, it is open, but it will not remain so forever. Heaven doesn't beg. Heaven beckons. And you are being beckoned now, not to perform, but to align. Not to impress, but to obey. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. Destiny never required your perfection. It only required your participation. There is a stirring in the spirit realm. Can you feel it? There is an oil that is ready to pour, but only on the heads of those who are aligned. The cost of disobedience is too high now. You've seen too much. You survived too much. You've been shown the patterns too clearly. The window is narrowing. The angelic protection is hovering, but it's waiting for your movement to anchor it fully. You must move with God, or risk losing the rhythm of what's being released. This is your moment to activate the mantle that betrayal tried to bury. This is your hour to rise, not timidly, but with the force of one who knows heaven stands behind them. Stop waiting for another sign. This word is the sign. Stop waiting for someone else to affirm you. Heaven already has. Every tear you cried in secret was a yes being written in eternity. Every time you chose God over gossip, over bitterness, over revenge, you were aligning. And now, Lyman demands action. Speak it out. Declare it. Prophesy it over yourself. I am no longer hiding. I am activated. I am aligned. I am ready. Because this is not about feeling it. This is about responding to it. Type my yes is final in the comments if you are stepping into divine activation. Blessing code 3030 is opening doors no man can shut. While your heart was breaking, while your voice was silenced, and while your thoughts were swirling in confusion, heaven was speaking. While you were questioning everything, heaven was confirming everything. While you slept, while you sobbed, while you wrestled in silence, there was an exchange taking place in the spirit. Unseen by human eyes, untouched by earthly hands, a divine transaction was unfolding, with your name on it. The enemy made a move, but heaven made a counter move. What they tried to steal, heaven intercepted. What they thought they had access to, God blocked. While your name was being mishandled by people, it was being carried in light by angels. While they whispered lies, heaven was speaking truth. While they tried to take from you, heaven added to you. They never knew, but you were being elevated through their betrayal. You see, the spirit realm is never still. It is always moving. It is always active. There are constant negotiations, strategies, battles, exchanges. And when the betrayal began to form, when the spiritual wires of dishonor began to wrap around your name, heaven stepped in. Not with chaos, but with precision. Not with vengeance, but with righteousness. And in that moment, in the secret chambers of divine authority, God overruled every plot. They didn't just lie on you, they attempted to rob you. They tried to steal moments, opportunities, relationships, and access that were assigned to you. But what they didn't realize was that the blood already spoke on your behalf. The blood of Jesus didn't just cover your sin, it also covered your assignment. And what the blood covers, no demon can legally touch. There were things heaven transferred back into your account in silence. While you were sleeping, angels were moving. While you were weeping, heaven was writing. While you were doubting your worth, the Father was sealing your value. You didn't lose what they tried to take, you gained what they could never carry. The spiritual inheritance on your life was upgraded, not diminished. Every tear you cried became a seed in the Spirit. And now, the harvest is on its way. Not because you fought back, not because you defended yourself, but because you stayed under the covering. You stayed in obedience. You stayed in alignment. And the silent exchange has already happened. The moment you let go of the offense, God released the recompense. Your pain was not wasted. It was processed. And in the chambers of the Almighty, the books were adjusted. Your name, once slandered by those close, is now being spoken in rooms of honor in the Spirit. You may not see it yet in the natural, but in the supernatural, your crown has already been shifted. You've gone from servant to steward, from survivor to vessel, from question of Gilead. You knew something was happening, didn't you? You could feel the heaviness. You could sense the shift. That's because your spirit was discerning what your mind hadn't yet caught up with. It's because your spirit felt the silent exchange before your eyes ever saw the manifestation. Let your heart rest now. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt in power. You are being positioned in silence. And when the time is right, what was done privately will explode publicly, not for your ego, but for God's glory. Type heaven fought for me in the comments if you can feel this shift confirming in your spirit. Blessing code 8181 has just been activated in your atmosphere. Heaven is not silent about injustice. The cries you whispered through clenched teeth, the pain you carried when no one defended you, the weight of betrayal that pressed down on your soul, God saw it all. And the judge of all the earth did not let injustice sit unresolved. There is a justice unfolding now, not in bitterness, not in revenge, but in divine reversal. It is not motivated by your pain, but by your position. You were positioned for vindication the moment you chose obedience over offense. There is a tipping of scales happening right now in the unseen. The spiritual courtroom has been convened. Evidence has been presented. And the verdict has been spoken. This one is mine. This one is covered. This one is rising. The tables are turning. The same mouths that tried to curse you will be silenced. The same voices that spread dishonor will now choke on the honor God is releasing over your life. not because you demanded it, but because you waited for it. This is not karma. This is kingdom. The betrayer does not win in the story of the obedient. The ones who tried to plant division, plant slander, plant confusion, they are now watching their seeds produce an unexpected harvest, not your destruction, but their exposure. God will not be mocked. What was sown in darkness is now being reaped under heaven's light. And every false narrative built around your name is crumbling under the pressure of divine truth. You must understand, this is not about punishment. It is about balance. Heaven is restoring what was stolen. Heaven is returning what was delayed. Heaven is avenging what was mishandled. There are doors you were locked out of because of the dishonor of others. Those doors are swinging open again. And this time, your name is being brought up by heaven's hand, not man's hand. You will not have to strive to re-enter. God is ushering you back into spaces with a new level of authority and respect. This is what divine reversal looks like. There are divine consequences unfolding, not because you asked for it, but because God is just. They laughed when you cried. They twisted the story while you stayed silent. They danced around your pain like it didn't matter. But the dance is ending now. Because the one who sees all, the one who weighs the hearts of men, the one who knows the motives behind every word, he is making a public ruling. And your vindication is coming not in secret, but in plain view. This is your double portion season. What you lost in trust, you will gain in territory. What you lost in time, you will gain in acceleration. What you lost in reputation, God is replacing with divine recommendation. You are not being restored to where you were, you are being launched to where they could never take you. This is beyond recovery. This is promotion. Let this be your final release of bitterness. Let this be the moment you finally exhale. You do not have to carry the weight of making things right. God is making it right. And He's doing it in a way that brings Him glory and brings you into rest. So let the reversal begin. Let justice roll like a river. Let heaven's judgment speak louder than every accusation. You are not falling, you are rising. And those who watched your fall will now witness your flight. Type "justice is mine" in the comments if you feel heaven balancing the scales. Blessing code 9090 is pouring divine reversal into your atmosphere now. September 8 was never meant to pass unnoticed, because heaven never meant for you to stay the same. That date was a divine command, a protective decree etched in glory. It was the moment the Father stepped in and said, "No further. Not this one. Not my anointed." And so the warrior of heaven, Archangel Michael, was dispatched, not to fight with sword alone, but to guard the doorway of your destiny, to shield you from a betrayal you didn't even know was coming, and to stand between you and the pit the enemy dug for your downfall. But now the window is closing. The warning has been spoken. The signs have been revealed. And your obedience must now match the weight of what heaven has done for you. This was not a small deliverance. This was not a minor covering. This was a rescue. And the time for lingering and indecision is over. Archangel Michael remains in position, but not indefinitely. His protection is linked to your posture, your discernment, your stillness, your surrender. You must not go back to old circles. You must not return to the familiar patterns that heaven exposed. This window is the final one. To ignore it now is to risk stepping outside of divine timing. But to say yes, to align, to obey, to finally see what God has been showing you, is to step into a realm of clarity, power, protection, and acceleration that cannot be shaken. You are not abandoned. You are not behind. You are being carried by the same force that held you on September 8. Let this be your final affirmation. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. The betrayals that were hidden are now broken. The spiritual war that raged in silence is now won. And your name has been carved deeper into the records of heaven, as one who listened, who endured, and who rose. Now rise. The final window is open, but not for long. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if you receive this full word into your spirit. Blessing code 1212 is resting on your name, your house, and your next season. If this word has stirred your soul, confirmed your journey, and spoken directly into your hidden war, then this is your moment to respond. When you sow into this ministry, you're not tipping a messenger. You're fueling a prophetic trumpet. You're helping God's warnings and confirmations reach another soul before their final window closes. This isn't donation. This is divine participation. This is obedience with eternal consequence. The word says in Galatians 6:6, "Let the one who is taught the word share all good things with the one who teaches." This is not just a verse. It's your invitation into overflow. And as you pour back into this altar, may heaven pour double into your household. Give through Super Thanks, join as a member, or sow through PayPal. The link is in the video description. Say this aloud before you give. I am sowing into my assignment. I am partnering with divine protection. I am part of heaven's strategy. Your obedience will not return void.